Good day so far?
Today, tomorrow, it's all the same.
You! What is going on? Hey, get out of the water!
Guess you followed me. It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about.
Yeah.
In this life. I'm tired of talking about things that suck. Do you want to talk about Palm Springs? I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you ended up watching that. I feel like that was such the perfect movie to it was just a good movie for now. Like, I feel like it's a nice balance of like kind of a nice escapist movie that you don't have to think too hard about, but it's got a good concept, it's got a good cast, everyone's enjoyable. I'm not saying it's like the best movie of all time and I'll like remember it forever, but like I enjoyed it, and I gotta say I like this this Groundhog Day subgenre that's kind of come to fruition in the last few years.
Yeah. No, I mean it was weird because I love time loop movies. I love the kind of Groundhog's Day-esque movies. I don't know, something weird about them. I guess I secretly or unsecretly, I guess, want to be trapped in a time loop for some amount of time. Just that kind of like
not forever, but
chaos of lawless. Not forever, but yeah, like I don't know.
Just
give me like 30 days of the same one. Yeah, I'd fuck around.
So you could do all the things that you always want to do and get away with it, and then is it that or is it that just being able to have time and not worry about, having to wake up and adhere to a schedule or anything like that?
Yeah, like no, part of my part of it for me is I would read every book that I actually own. I would watch everything in my watch list. I would read every article. I would listen to every podcast. I would kind of do all the things that I wish I could do if I weren't sleeping and playing Call of Duty.
It's the Twilight Zone, time at last, like the dude with the glasses that finally has time to read all the books and the glasses shatter at the end kind of thing. Like, it's like, yeah, that's the finally I don't have any responsibility or anything, and I can like just literally like live in eternity just enjoying whatever, and then go back to regular life, right?
Yeah, I always enjoy watching like how flawed characters like kind of handle that setting, and that's what's fun about Palm Springs is also kind of trying to guess. I think what's fun about Palm Springs is most every time lapse movie is centered around, or time loop movie rather, it's centered around like a main character who goes through it the first time and then spends the first act going, what?
Yeah.
What's going on in the time loop? So this is great because he's already midway through it, or he's already well into it, and you kind of discover that that's the kind of plot device that the movie is centered around. So that's kind of fun. And then I always like when there's multiple characters who are
involved in the time loop,
involved and kind of also going through the time. Like, there's a few movies that are like this, but shows and movies that are multiple people going through it, and they all remember the past days. I'm not talking about Andy McDowell in Groundhog. I'm talking like
you're talking about other people that are Bill Murray's in the Bill Murray. Yeah, I mean that's a nice wrinkle to, because it's like everyone's like they're in on a joke that the rest of the world isn't in on. Kind of, and the thing I like about that format in general is like, the repetition is fun because the audience gets to know it, so you get to expect it, and it's like the ways you play with that expectation really kind of give the movie a nice momentum usually, or show or whatever, and it's a good metaphor for people's lives too. I feel like, it's a good, especially, in this case, in this movie, it's kind of like a metaphor for like the guy's life. Like you kind of can get stuck living the same day over and over again, and I really like I totally agree. Like I like that when you first meet Andy Samberg, like I watched this movie with my brother and he didn't actually know what the concept of the movie was at first, so I loved that for him he didn't even know this was a time loop movie. So the stuff in the first 20 minutes like it doesn't bother explaining it to you, and you kind of just would assume that Andy Samberg is like a total like weird loser or something like that doesn't,
or he's just kind of grumpy because he's at like his girlfriend's friend's wedding.
He's wearing a Hawaiian
you assume
shirt
like
to
nothing
a
is
and stuff or whatever,
right? Yeah, nothing is too like outrageous until you kind it unravels. Yeah, because I watched it with Ash, and she doesn't know.
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
And
what was I gonna say? I don't know. I'm just go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say J.K. Simmons was a good J.K. Simmons role.
He's great.
You can never have too much supporting J.K. Simmons actors acting or whatever.
That's my favorite use of him is kind of like maniacal old guy.
Yeah.
Where it's not too heavy. It's not like the drum movie. What was that?
Oh, Whiplash.
Whiplash. Ooh.
Yeah.
Or it's not Oz.
It's not
or something,
Oz.
You know what I mean? It's like, but it's not quite Spider-Man either. It's like.
Well, he's scary in it, but he's more on the fun, gruff asshole. You want like a little bit of those Farmers Insurance ads. More of that J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just a little of that mixed in with Whiplash.
Give me a little less Oz, a little more Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, give me J.J. Jameson, but if he was cool and you were doing coke with him in a bathroom. Or like,
how long do you think he was in the loop?
I don't know. Oh, well, I like that they gave him an out.
You ever hear like... Harold Ramis has like Bill Murray was in there for like 38 years. Yeah, something like that, right?
I mean, that's the thing. Well, I feel like it's same thing. Like in Edge of Tomorrow too. I feel like they that's the thing is like, and I think that's the fun of it is it could be this might have been his like dozenth try doing this, or he could literally have been doing this for thousands of years. The wrinkle I like that they had with Andy Samberg in this is that he's been in this loop so long he literally doesn't remember what his life was before this day, and I think that was a nice touch.
Yeah, he could, because at the end, or I don't even want to say it. We're going to try to keep it spoiler free, but there's one callback I thought was really funny at the end of the movie, where he remembers that he has to go pick something up. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And it's a very, it's such a, once again, can't get into it, but it was a nice touch. But and also, I'm really glad, is it Christina Margoletti?
I've never seen her before. She was poor man's Linda Cardinelli or whatever.
Oh,
Ash was like, who does she look like?
Oh.
I was like, you think she's the chick from Dead to Me and Scooby-Doo and Grandma's Boy and Mad Men and Man.
She's a great actress. Like, I've seen her. She's kind of like a character actress that kind of shows up in shows every once in a while, but she's really good. She was the mom in How I Met Your Mother. And she was Leonardo DiCaprio's first wife in Wolf of Wall Street. So she's got like bit parts, but she's very funny and kind of charismatic. So I'm glad that she's got a nice funny role that she could sink her teeth into. But yeah, totally loved it. This is like exact kind of nice balance of comfort food and actual good. I think it was from the Lonely Island guys, and I gotta say I do like their work a lot. I still say that whatever that pop star movie Andy Samberg did is
I never got to see that one.
It's underrated, man. I think it's actually like really effing funny. I need to rewatch it. But
I liked Palm Springs because it's fun. I've seen so many of these movies that are brutal, like they're not fun with it. Like
I don't want to get too depressing with the premise,
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want a real depressing one, there's one called Repeaters, which is it's I think it came out like 10 years ago, and it stars if you watch Silicon Valley, kind of the young female executive.
Oh yeah.
She was in I can't remember her name, but she was in Sex Drive too. She was like Felicia or something in Sex Drive. So she's kind of like a recovering drug addict in a rehab center with two other recovering drug addicts, and the three of them get into a time loop.
Oh.
And it's the day her dad dies, so she gets to relive that every day. And then one guy basically has like a mental breakdown and just starts killing people, raping teenage girls, like killing the other two. Like, it's insane.
Is it like when you die, you just wake up
so
again over and over kind of thing?
Yep. So he would run around and kind of like, there's a scene where like he kidnaps the girl and like shoots her in the knee just to fuck with the guy, and then like kills her. So she'll just restart, like kills her. I mean, it's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not like a
really
fun
sounds
one.
like a laugh riot, man.
Yeah, it's not a barrel monkey. So I enjoy the time loop ones, and I don't know if have you ever seen? Did you see Russian Doll?
I did, yeah, no, I liked it, and I was thinking of that too.
Where that it's kind of like a middle. It's where I feel like more fun, but it also was a little bit fucking dark too.
It would get darker at times. Though I kind of liked it, but it did kind of make it a little less. Like I didn't binge it as fast because like I respected the artistry of it more, but I wasn't like, oh cool, I want to watch 10 episodes of this in one night or whatever.
I think they did it perfectly. It's like 8 episodes, 30 minutes a piece or something.
The fact that it was
and
30
like,
minutes
okay,
a piece, I think made a big difference. If it was an hour, it would be kind of grueling, I think. But yeah, were there any other good? I got a couple. I'm trying to think of like good time loop movies. I saw one kind of recently that's been on Netflix for a while called The Endless. Have you seen that yet? Or heard of it?
Yeah, no, I still not. No, I will watch it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's I don't know if it's quite time loop, but it's like time loop adjacent, and it's basically about these two brothers that escaped a cult when they were children. Like they grew up in a cult, and then when they were like 15, they left, and they get a videotape from one of the people from their cult, and basically telling them to come back and visit. And when they go and visit, they are like, oh hey, wait, everyone here seems to have not aged, and there's weird things with people seeming to be in time loops, and it's very interesting. It's kind of like a good Twilight Zone episode, and it's not quite the same thing as the Groundhog Day format, but it's pretty fun. And it actually, I don't know, there's cameos from other characters and this guy's it actually ties into another movie that the guy did that's kind of interesting, but can't talk about it because it goes into the spoilers, but it's cool. And then there were two other ones that came to mind, once again, not quite time loop, but time loop adjacent, kind of time travel-y, that I think are like really underrated. There's this Spanish movie called Time Crimes. That's pretty dope. It's like one of the best like time travel movies. Plot holes with them kind of irritate me, and the ones that I tend to like are the ones where it's like airtight logic, like time can't be changed kind of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to watch it, but it's about a guy that just moved into a house, and he's sitting on his back deck one day, and he's looking through binoculars, and he thinks he sees a naked woman getting murdered by a guy in a mask with scissors, and he goes out to rescue her, and it ends up turning into this crazy time travel plot that I won't go more into, but it's really cool, and it loops back in on itself over and over and over again, and like scenes play out one way, like, and it's a horror movie, and then they play out from a different angle, and it's like a comedy. Like, you kind of does one of those things where when you see things from a different perspective, it totally changes the context. Cool. And it kind of has that repetitive thing we were talking about where you as the audience kind of, you've seen these things happen before, so you get a nice tension because you know what's coming, but you also don't quite know how it's going to play out. So it's really cool. It's from the guy that did that movie Colossal that came out a few years ago. So he's got weird, interesting sci-fi ideas a lot, and this was one of his better ones.
Did he star in it? Because the dude he wrote it, directed, and he starred in it too.
He's an actor. He's a side character. He's kind of the comic relief because there's a scientist of a certain time device that plays a part in the movie, and he's basically the guy that explains all the science stuff in the exposition, and he's pretty good because like he knows that he's kind of a goofy dude with good comedic timing, so he knows to give himself a lot of like comic beats in it. So it's a really solid movie. I think it's very underrated, and I try to recommend to people whenever it comes up. And then the last one is kind of similar. It's this movie called Predestination. Came out a few years ago. It stars Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook, who is on Succession now. She's the daughter in it. And really good performance by Sarah Snook. Once again, I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. I can't describe hardly anything about it without it being a spoiler, but it has one of the weirdest sci-fi time travel concepts I ever heard, but it's interesting. Like, I can honestly say I've never heard a sci-fi concept like it, but it's basically Ethan Hawke is this detective that has to go back and catch this serial killer from the past, and he runs into this woman who I'm not even gonna go into it. Just watch the trailer. Trailer's not even that good. Just watch the movie. It's a interesting, weird, crazy, wraps in on itself type of plot. It's kind of one of the problems with these time travel, time loop movies is you can't really like describe too much about them without going into spoilers.
Well, no one I can find. I've been looking for people who are trapped in time loops for years. No one can say shit. Look for real. There's real people on YouTube that are claiming that they're in time loops and shit. So believe me.
Wait, what?
No one.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Do they?
No one can.
Do they try to prove that at all or anything?
Well, the guy, there's one guy in particular, because he claims he's in a time loop from 2000. He's in a 40-year time loop, he says, and his time loop starts in 2001 and goes to 2040. So like 2000 to 2040.
Why is he not a millionaire right in the middle from all of those stock sports bets or whatever?
Exactly. So he's just, why didn't you warn? The comments are always like, why didn't you warn us about fucking coronavirus, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he just talks about online gambling a lot.
I'm not sure if I'm coming to you from the past, from the present, from the future. I think I'm coming. Yeah, I know I'm coming to you from all three. I'm just not sure how. It's the interdimensional thing, interdimensional multiverse. I don't want to call it an interdimensional thing because then it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Dude, he's basically the homeless guy in Russian Doll. He's basically the homeless guy, and he looks like a crazy homeless guy. So you kind of discount everything.
What?
He says.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
I would take a seminar from that gentleman in an instant.
It's crazy because his profile picture is him as a younger man with a very short, almost like a buzz cut almost, and he looks like a happy, bright, spunky 20-year-old. And then his videos are as a crazy man with a weird Unabomber beard and hair, and he's like, "Hey guys, oh god, I'm in a loop again." You know what I mean?
Well, once you've been in
he just talks about online
for the
gambling
20th time, that takes its toll.
Yeah, he just talks about online gambling and says in 2040. Oh, online gambling is all. Everything is gambling. I was like, this isn't really enough for me, dog. I'm gonna need a little more.
Tell me what the next Google's gonna be, Mister.
Yeah, can you toss me some nuggets, bro?
Yeah.
But he's like, dropping my kids off at school, and I'm in a loop again, man. Oh, yeah. It's
wow.
It's crazy because he's angry that people think he posts the videos for attention, but. Why else would you?
I'm fine just believing the guy's crazy. Plenty of crazy people can make videos. YouTube has shown us that fact far too much in the last few years. But
yeah, he's. I want to reach out to someone who's actually trapped in a time loop. If you happen to be in a time loop, leave a comment.
Yeah,
leave a comment.
Yeah, if you can.
Because the comments on his posts are people. Oh yeah, dude, I've been in a time loop before. Oh yeah, dude, I got out of it. But people are leave him paragraph long things.
Is
saying,
it all
I'm there for you, dude.
It's crazy. I get stuck in this time loop, and crack is the only thing that gets me out of it. Is a lot of that kind of stuff.
No, it's people talk about quantum physics and this and that and all this, dude. Oh, dude.
There's a bunch of burgeoning Donnie Darkos out there or something.
I guess so, man. I guess so. I mean, that's another classic one. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I love a good time loop movie as long as kids aren't getting murdered in them. I guess.
The one you were describing, I've never heard of, but I have no.
It's
no
horrible. It's not good. Yeah. I'll watch almost anything if it's it's.
Yeah, I mean
that concept. I like time loop, Groundhog's Day. I love the Happy Death Day.
I was just about to say
stuff like that.
That was a fun movie
because they're kind of fun.
Even Edge of Tomorrow is not bloody, but it is a kind of sometimes borderline intense action movie kind of stuff.
Yeah, it can be violent. It's this guy's his motivation every day was to wake up and then sprint out of his room so he could make sure that his sister's friend doesn't get raped by this guy.
Wow.
So it's you know what? I could stand for this to be over.
Yeah. That's
Well, there you go. I was like, is this in the movie?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's don't watch it. I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's Repeaters from 2010. It sucks. It's not great. But if you want to watch like a depressing, shitty take on time travel, go for it.
You should put that on the box. Put that on the Amazon
Leave
review
him,
page.
the review.